Okay. Uh, can you tell me your name and when and where you were born, please?
My name is Teresa Iscamilla. Um, I was born in Scottsbluff, Nebraska in 1972.
Can you tell me a little about your family?
My family, my mother was originally born here in Magnolia, Texas, and my father was born in Flint, Michigan.
Uh, okay, so the interview that we're going to do right now is going to be about the September 11 attacks of 2001. How old were you when the attacks took place?
I believe I was 29.
29. Uh, do you remember what you were doing at the time?
Yes, I was in the kitchen preparing breakfast for my husband. He was getting ready to take off to Phoenix, Arizona. He had a flight out that morning.
Ma'am, how did you find out about the attacks?
The attacks. Like I said, I was getting breakfast ready and the phone rang. And it was my brother in law. And he called to let us know what had happened. Um, if I can recall, it was only the first one, the first tower that had been attacked. And he he just said to keep it, that we weren't going to, that my husband wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't going to be able to make the trip because I'm pretty sure everything would have been canceled, all the flights. So that's pretty much how we found out. As soon as we found out, TV went on. Um, we were in awe, we were in shock, and that's how we found out.
So, like, when did you find out it was a terrorist attack?
To tell you the truth, I can't recall like 100%, but I just know it was later on during the day. Um,
So, like, later on that evening.
yes.
Okay. Um, what emotions or, thoughts were going through your mind when you learned about the attacks in the first place?
At first, we were in awe. I couldn't believe it. Um, how sad, how devastating, how it just couldn't be happening because never imagined something like that happening um, to the United States. I guess. Well, we always just assumed that we had everything was snug as a bug or tight. That nothing like that would be able to happen.
So, at that moment, were you afraid for your safety or for the safety of your family?
At that moment, no. I just kept wondering, why? I mean, wow. I mean, we were just in awe the whole time. It was like, why? I mean, why could somebody be so cruel, so crude, so? It's just so sad. I mean, we're all God's children. Why would they do? Why would somebody do that?
Of all of this, what was of all of the time that it was happening at that time, what was your most vivid memory? What was the most recollected thing that you could remember?
The most vivid what I kept seeing was when the second plane hit the second tower. Um, and then all of a sudden it was just like domino effect. It was just like the tower was going down, and I'm like, sweet Jesus. It was sad. It really was sad.
Um, let's see. Did you know anyone who was personally affected by this or impacted in any way by the attacks?
Personally, no, but as a mother, as a sister, and as a daughter, I can just only imagine what everybody was going through, not knowing if their loved one made it or not.
So, how do you think that the nation reacted at the time, or how was it that the nation reacted at that time?
Probably pretty much first shock, like a major shock. It was just like they just could not believe that this was happening. Second, anger. I mean, who wouldn't be angry? What gave these people the right to come into the United States, the land of the free, to come in and do that to somebody? I mean, anger. I mean, I would be frustrated. Imagine, like you asked earlier, did I know anybody? But if it would have been my family, I would be so angry. I would want revenge on all that. But anger, frustration, sadness, just still can't, shocked, still can't believe what's going
So like, how did the government react to it, other than the nation itself? The government.
on. Like as we learn more, it's just like they went out and said, "All right, buddy, put up your dukes. Let's go for it."
So do you agree with the invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq? Do you think it was a necessary movement for us to take?
To a point, yes, I do.
Do you believe the government has done enough to keep us safe from terrorism today?
Yes, I do.
Has the September 11 attacks changed you or anyone you know?
Um, in the way of thinking, and people coming across the borders, either the north or the south. Yeah, anything or anyone could come across, and yeah, you think twice about things that are happening.
So how do you think it affected our country and the world itself?
We're more cautious, more alert.
Alert.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about like NSA? Do you think that these attacks gave them permission to spy on their own citizens, the citizens of the United States? Do you think it's right for them to do that?
Actually, I do believe to a point, yes. Not 100%, not like to be inside their home but they're taking their precautions. They're taking what they have to do.
Thank you, Mrs. Escamilla, for this interview that you allowed us to have with you. Thank you very much. What you just seen was an interview of my mother, Teresa Escamilla. She was expressing her feelings of what happened during 9/11 or the 2001 attacks of September 11. And I really didn't know that my father himself, her husband, was on his way to Arizona when these attacks happened. So, it kind of like, what if my dad was going to New York to meet someone or something like that? Because I think that's what she didn't explain in the video, but she did explain afterward that he was going to Arizona to meet someone, and that the flight has been canceled, of course. Now, another thing that kind of shocked me is like my mom, she's not very aggressive, but to hear that she would want revenge on the people who did this to her country to devastate millions and millions of people is something really different.